So your average gym bro doesn't care about anything. Maybe he has a Fitbit, maybe he has an Apple Watch, he might even have a Whoop. And it's something where he doesn't even understand what he's supposed to be looking for. But truth be told, most of these guys don't have this. Now, of course, we have Anatoly. This guy doesn't have a Whoop, he doesn't have a Fitbit, he doesn't have anything. But if he started today, he'd probably get something. Now, you might be going around just going like, why does this guy not have it if it's so important? That's the thing. This guy doesn't need one because he's become his own one. He's had so many iterations of recovery management, fatigue management, where he's trying to find the perfect thing for his sleep, the perfect thing, post-workout, the perfect duration of workouts. He's been perfecting all of these for years. He's been making changes. He's been seeing how he responds to it, and then he's made changes again based on what it told him. He doesn't need a Whoop because, truth be told, if he bought one, he'd be wasting money because he already knows the difference between just changing one thing. He can feel it the next day, the next week, the next month. And so, does he need a tool which is telling him stuff he'd be able to work out on his own? No. If he started out today, would he want that? If he had the same mindset, would he strive to get something which can tell him directly and instantly, yeah, this is better, you're improving? Yeah, he'd love it. I've tracked things before. The first thing I ever had was an Apple Watch, and truth is, I didn't really know how to utilize it. I think it's partly because Apple Watches don't give you enough, or they don't really show what you're supposed to be doing with it. Like, the one I had, it was the Model 3, and its sleep tracking mode was literally, you go into your app, right, you get your phone out, you go into it, and it tells you nothing. It doesn't give you insights into how your sleep was, like the cycle you were in. It just tells you what your phone told it. Like if you have the automatic sleep thing set up. Like that is that is so rubbish. It's not telling you anything. It's literally just telling you what the phone is telling you, and for some reason they put it on like the health watch app section. It's like, this is not helping. If you want something on your wrist, you want it to tell you about your sleep. You want to let you know how good it was. You don't want it to just literally copy what the phone is saying. That doesn't even make sense. Like there are apps like Sleep Cycle you can install which will give you so much more valuable data than that. Of course, when we get to Whoop, that's further down the line, but it doesn't. Oh, this sounds like such a sponsorship. I'm not going to talk about Whoop specifically, although this is a Whoop specific video, but there are health monitors, and I think some of the like more modern Apple Watches would tell you stuff like that. Now that's the thing. There's no like I don't know if subjective is the right word, but there's no way to understand what you're doing. Like what kind of matters when it comes to recovery is tracking your heart rate and your heart rate variability, but this isn't clear. Like Apple Watch users won't kind of see that thing and be able to like monitor it or even have it in an easy obtainable way. And that's where I got stuck. I would track every single workout, between sets. I'd be like that. I'd be just messing with the watch and I'd see it. And it just became a chore because I'd have to charge it. And the thing about Apple Watches is you can't charge it on your wrist like a Whoop. Like this has like a battery pack you can slide on and off, so it's always on you. But the Apple Watch, you have to physically take it off, put it on the kind of like placement, which is, for me, it's like all the way downstairs, and it's like on this chair, and you just have to keep it there, and then you forget about it. You go get it later, maybe the next day, and it got to a point where I would just every now and then I'd forget it for like a few days, which sucks. Like if you're getting a smartwatch, make sure there's a way for you to always be on you, because it's like I don't know. Imagine you have to charge your phone. You have to charge it at like the bank or like the Apple store. Like you have to go all the way. Like no one would have a phone at that point, because why would you have a phone when you have to, like, you can't even. It makes me kind of annoyed. It kind of makes me annoyed, the fact that you just can't use something when it's charging. It's just, and it's something like measuring you 24/7, your biometrics. Why would you want to lose 5 hours of data? Like, how is that helpful? How can you market something as a health product and have it as a tracker to like improve your health over time, and then not have it tracking your health all the time? That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. It makes zero sense, and I have no idea who thought that'd be a good idea. Whoop is kind of beating them by far when it comes to that. But that's the thing, man. I didn't know what I was doing. I would look at it every now and then. I'd be like, oh, cool, these numbers are going down. These ones are going up. But it wouldn't give me insight. Now, Whoop does a really good job because it kind of balances a few things. I do see it as a recovery management tool in the way that it will help you give context to things, because it has something called I think it's like a habits tracker, and you can add insight in like a mini journal thing. Like you can tell it you're sick, or you can tell it that you had a cold shower yesterday, or you didn't eat the proper amount, you didn't hydrate the proper amount, and then it will give you like an insight of how these things affect you. You know, if you don't hydrate enough, this is like -7% of your recovery. If you have a cold shower, it's like +2%. And you kind of see these things, you're like, okay, this is clear now. Now I know like which good habits and which bad habits to like bring up, bring down in order to get the best sort of recovery from me. And then you can also see week by week, you actually improving in these things. Are you pushing hard? Are you pushing too hard? That sort of thing, you know, like am I overtraining? Am I overdoing the cardio? What's really going on here? And that's invaluable data. Now again, we have like Anatoly, he kind of has that all in his mind, but when he started off, he wasn't able to measure that sort of stuff. And we're in a space and time where, because our generation's been raised in a certain way, chronic exhaustion through being, you know, through undersleeping is so prevalent. Like there are guys out there who will have 5 hours of sleep, will hit the gym, will like party to like ridiculous times, and they think they're fine, they think they're like energized, they think they don't have a sleep issue. They're absolutely exhausted. They don't realize it, but they're limiting themselves in such a huge way just because they are getting the sleep they need. And they see it as fine because when you're exhausted and you've been exhausted for so long, you have no idea that you've been exhausted. You get one good night's sleep and you're like, I feel a bit weird today. That's a bit strange. I don't normally feel like this. And truth is, you're never going to get that one good night's sleep because the amount of things that have to be aligned perfectly. When I'm talking about like routine, structure, it even being matched to like your natural rhythm and, you know, your circadian rhythm, there are so many things that have to be aligned. And when you slowly get to that point, it's not an overnight thing where you just feel like completely refreshed. You know, it's very incremental, and it's almost like the path to escaping that exhaustion covers up the fact that you're escaping exhaustion. And it's just like when something's iteratively slightly better, it's very hard to see and spot a change. But that's the thing, just if your friends are bringing you out till 3 a.m. so that you get 5 hours sleep, you don't want to be, you don't want to be doing that. Come on, like the fact that you're here, anyone watching a video like this proves that they really care and they want the dedication and they're very serious about results. Like the algorithm has literally put you to me, and that is what it's all about here. So it's kind of worked that out for you. It's worked out that you want results, and we can't be messing around. Like messing around that's for the roids. That's for the roids guys. That's what they're about. They're the ones who don't have to worry about sleep or anything like that because they can just take some sort of compound which fixes it. We have to work hard, and we have to be careful.